Sorry about that interruption there. I had a phone call in the middle of the lesson. So we were looking at this slide, and the scientists pretty much found the same thing that we found out. If you put both flaps up, it makes the plane rise, lifts more initially, so it travels farther. When they were down, the opposite happened. So that third condition was met. How do your conditions compare to the scientists? How do they explain this? We found the same thing. The flaps being up made the plane fly higher and farther. Farther.
How else might the plane's surfaces be used to control its flight? If you thought of flaps on its wings, you're right. This time the airplane's wing flaps can be adjusted so that they are both level, or so that one is up and the other is down. How do you think the airplane's flight will be affected by these different flap settings? Click the play button to see the flap settings. Type your answer in the box, then click OK.
So what do you think would happen if we put one flap up and one flap down? How do you think that would affect its flight? To me, it seems like it would make it turn, doesn't it? If one is up and one's down, one side's going to lift and one side's going to, I think it's going to want to flip over or roll over like that. Let's see. So they've got one up and one down. Okay, they're just showing what it means to have one flap up and one flap down. Okay, we think it's going to turn, don't we? We think it will make the plane turn or roll over.
Continue to see if your prediction is correct. Let's investigate. Use the controls to change the wing flap settings. Run the simulation a few times for each setting. Record your observations in the table provided.
Okay. Both level. It flew in a straight line, didn't it? Okay. Let's put right up. Put the right up, it flies to the right. The left up, it flies to the left. Okay, there we go. If it both were level, it flew straight. The right was up and the left was down. What direction did it want to turn? Turn to the right, didn't it? And the opposite, left up, it turned to the left. Okay, so I think we were right in our predictions, weren't we?
What did you find out? How did adjusting the wing flaps affect the airplane's flight? Click the play button to see and hear a description.
Flew straight with both level.
When the wing flaps were both level, the airplane flew horizontally and did not turn. With the left wing flap up and the right wing flap down, the plane banked to the left. With the right wing flap up and the left wing flap down, the plane banked to the right. Can you explain your observations? Think about what you learned earlier about the effect that passing air has on the plane's tail flaps.
Well, let's think about it. If one's flat and one is up, so let's say this one's up, the wind is going to push against this one and it's going to slow this side of the plane down, but this side's going to want to keep going. So this side slows down and that one goes that way. Then it's going to turn, isn't it? Or the opposite. If the air is pushing against this because it's slowed it down, this side's going to want to keep going, but this side's going to want to slow down. So it's going to turn it that way. So it's got to do with the air resistance against the flaps, doesn't it?
Before we finish, let's take a look at the main points you covered. We use technology to enhance many aspects of our lives, such as travel, communication, entertainment, and daily tasks. Technology advances as people identify needs or problems and try to solve them. After a problem or a need has been identified, solutions can be planned and built. Measurements can be made to test and improve potential solutions. Models can help to test and improve technological solutions. Now that you've finished the lesson, click the Lab Report button to save or print it.
Well, that was a pretty fun lesson. You know what you need to do now? You can go build you a paper airplane and see if go back and watch the beginning of the video if you want to see how they cut it out. Notice it had a paper clip on the front of the airplane. Give it a little more mass. Why don't you try to build one with a flap up and flap down and see if you can get it to turn? That'd be a fun project for you to do today. Go and investigate a little bit yourself. Now, tomorrow we're going to have our Unit 2 test. It'll be just like the test you did last week. It's going to be open book, so you can use your book to help you find the answers. And I think you'll find that it's not very hard, okay? All right. Well, thank you for paying attention to this lesson today. We'll see you tomorrow.